Hello, everybody. This is going to be a fairly long video, so get your coffee, hunker down, and I'm going to read today's news about the villages. Not all of it, but a lot of it. Everybody that comes down here, I don't want you to think, just because nobody's going to tell you, I don't want you to think that everything around here is peaches and cream. Because it's not. With growth comes a lot larger population. With a lot of a larger population comes problems. Not just traffic problems and those kind of things, but there's people that move in here that are scrupulous. They move in here with the intention of, I don't know how else to put it, screwing people. And there's outside people that live around the villages. They don't like villages here at all. To them, we are invading the old Florida that they liked. The old pasture fields are gone, we're here. The old country roads are gone, we're here. And so they feel like they just don't like us. Now, that's not necessarily everybody's opinion, but it's a handful. So things here happen. And I want to read you a little bit of the news that was today. And I'll try to explain some of this, because if you don't read the news down here every day, then you're not really aware of a lot of things. I just don't want you to think you're going to come down here and after that all your problems are gone, because they're not. Kathleen Unrath, U-N-R-A-T-H, 44 years of age. She was the niece of a villager up at Palo Alto. He was an elderly gentleman. I believe he was like in his late 80s or maybe early 90s. She moved in with him. And this is one of the problems that happens, especially in the older areas, because the average age there is a lot older than in the newer areas. She convinced her uncle that she wanted to move in with him to help him out. Sounds like a great niece, doesn't it? Well, she convinced him to let some of her friends move in there in his house. And it was last year that the neighbors started complaining about some activity going on in that house, and the house maintenance was not good, and the villages got involved with it because you sign a deed restriction telling you that your yard's got to be a certain way and stuff has to be done. Nothing was being done. It goes on for a couple of years. And then finally, there was a raid. The SWAT team went in there, and they arrested her, and I believe it was 3 of her men friends there for producing and selling drugs. I believe it was methamphetamine. And they took them to jail or took them to court anyway. And I think some of them got out on probation. Florida seems to be really good about probation instead of jail time. So they were at least she was out on probation. I can't remember what happened to the guys. Hopefully they moved out of the state. But anyway, the poor old guy, he was just an innocent victim in all this. The neighbors came over, they helped clean up his property, and I think finally the old guy sold his property after they got it all cleaned up. And then he moved back north with family members, to be taken care of. So those things happen. So that's why a lot of people are very, very scrupulous. Not scrupulous, that's the wrong word. They're very, very, they're very judgmental if you come down here and allow your 30-something-year-old son or daughter to move in with you. It's just not a good scenario. Another one, David Carl Hall was arrested for ripping off an elderly lady at Silver Lake. Another older area, just like Palo Alto. It's another, as a matter of fact, Silver Lake is probably the oldest area in the villages. That's the place where there's a lot of house trailers and modulars, but mostly house trailers. The guy put an ad in the paper looking for work, contracting work. First of all, to do any kind of a contracting work in the state of Florida, just so you knew people that are wanting to buy a house here, It's a state law. They have to have a contractor's license if they're any kind of a contractor. This guy claimed to be a painting contractor. She probably didn't even ask to see his license, or if he had one, maybe it was a counterfeit one. I don't really know that. But anyway, she wanted her house painted up there, and he gave her a price of $950 to paint the house, but he demanded a $900 down payment. She gave him a check. He cashed it that same day. He came back the next day and he pressure washed her house to get the dirt off to get ready to paint it. He never comes back. And so I don't know how much time passes, but she calls him many, many times. He refuses to answer her phone calls. He doesn't return her phone calls, emails, or anything. She finally calls the police. They arrested the guy. Down here, if you screw over somebody 65 years of age or older, it's just, they have a special law down here for crimes against seniors. And Lady Lake Police Department, there's a station over in, I think, Pine Hills in the rec center. And then Sumter County has an office for crimes against seniors. And you report it. They take it very seriously because Florida's a retirement state. So anyway, he got arrested. Remember that name, Dave Carl Hall, in case he gets out of jail on probation and he ends up down at Feeney knocking on doors looking for jobs. And remember, contractors have to be licensed. Ask for it. Spanish Springs, the oldest town square. You getting the rhythm here? People bought a house, I believe it was in Calumet Grove, another old area. And they bought a brand new golf cart. Friends, family, that's what it was. Her daughter, I believe, husband, and their grandchild had flown in from California. They took the shuttle from the Orlando airport to Spanish Springs, and they were staying at the Comfort Inn and Suites Hotel up there. Mom and Dad come over to the hotel with their brand new golf cart to leave it there because that was going to be their only transportation to get around, and which we did that when we first moved here. That's the golf cart's all you need. So they left it there. They picked the kids up. They went down to a restaurant in Spanish Springs, and from Comfort Inn and Suites to Spanish Springs, it's not that far. I'm not even sure it's a mile, but it's really close. So they went down to have something to eat. They go back to the hotel approximately an hour to an hour and a half later. Golf cart's gone, and they still can't find it. So they've got a alert and a picture in the paper with this golf cart stolen, just like that. These things happen. Don't leave your keys in your golf cart. And I'll even go further. Don't leave anything in the golf cart. There's no, this is a retirement community, but it's not necessarily 100% safe. You're going to have problems, especially when you're on the edge of the outside world. We call this the bubble. We're on the edge of the bubble. That's Spanish Springs. The outside world, it's just a quick dip off the highway, and they're inside. And then things happen. Don't leave your purse in a golf cart. Don't leave your iPhones in a golf cart, or cell phones. Don't leave your keys in a golf cart. Matter of fact, I'm saying after you play golf, go home, take the golf clubs out of your golf cart before you go anywhere. Or get the locking mechanism they got for the golf bags that lock them right to the golf cart. It makes them safer, but not necessarily safe. I've seen guys out in the parking lot because all of a sudden their putter disappeared. Somebody just came by their golf cart and took the putter out of the bag. It happens. So be very aware of what you do in your golf cart. The new Lowe's at Trailwinds is going to open next week. They announced that. That didn't have anything of bad news, but it just lets you know if you come down. The new Lowe's is opening next week. That's exciting news for a lot of people in Brownwood. That's the closest place to go get anything. Here's another one. iPhone stolen out of the golf cart while they were in the movie of Spanish Springs. So they went up to the Rialto Theater. I want you to keep this in your mind. They went up to the Rialto Theater, parked their golf cart. They went into the movie. So they're going to be in the movie for, what, hour and a half or maybe 2 hours? And they just left their iPhone in the golf cart. Somebody from the outside world probably came walking through town, looked in the golf cart, because you can see in them, just looked in there, saw the iPhone laying in there, just reached in and got it. Boom, gone, that fast. Don't leave anything in your golf cart. Michigan person, a snowbird. This guy goes up to Michigan for the holidays. He comes back like January 2nd and 3rd, 4th, something like that. And he goes home to find out that there's approximately $5,000 worth of jewelry missing in their house. Now, I didn't say where the jewelry was. Did he have a house cleaner to come in? People have house cleaners that come in while they're gone. I'm telling you, just don't trust anybody. Get a safe, lock it up, keep the safe hidden somewhere, something. I don't know what to tell you to do, but these things happen. So now they're out $5,000 worth of jewelry. I don't know what kind of jewelry. It might have been something that the lady's mother left her before she passed, or maybe a grandmother handed it down. Now it's gone. They'll find it in a pawn shop probably somewhere. Alligators. Wintertime, alligators, where do they go? Well, they actually, believe it or not, they kind of hibernate. When the weather gets below 70 degrees and starts to cool off, they quit feeding. They don't feed anymore. And they dig a den, usually along the shoreline, but they have access to the water at this den. You'll see it. They'll dig like a hole, kind of goes back into the shoreline. And they'll go back in there on cold days, and they'll lay there. They don't come out or anything. They just kind of go into like a hibernating state. But it's really not hibernating, but they just lay there. And if it's cold for a week, they'll lay there for a week. If it's cold for 2 weeks, they'll lay there for 2 weeks. That generally don't happen here, but they will. And then on a warm day, and we got a couple of them coming up, they'll come out of that, and then they'll bask in the sun again. Because that's the only way they can warm up. And so that's where they're at right now. They're not feeding, and they're kind of like in a hibernating state. They're just waiting. So that's the answer to that. What else did I have here? I had something else here that I wanted to read you. Oh, yeah, it was about the development down at Finney and Southern Oaks. They just announced, I think it was yesterday, or maybe it was the day before yesterday, about some rezoning they're wanting to do down there, and they updated how many houses they're wanting to build, and this changes all the time. They'll start out saying we're going to build 14,000 homes, and then that quickly escalates. So anyway, let me see if I can read a little bit of this, because it's really long, but I don't want to read all of it. The village's massive Southern Oaks development along the Florida Turnpike has created a few islands of existing neighborhoods that are not part of the plan. What they're talking about is there's some people that live out there and they didn't sell their property or anything, so the villages is going to build around them. It happens. One of these islands is Wildwood Country Resorts, a manufactured home community of less than 150 homes south of State Road 44 near Buena Vista Boulevard. Community residents brought some concerns about Southern Oaks project to a meeting Tuesday of the Wildwood Planning and Zoning Board. At the meeting, a special magistrate, Grant Watson, recommended for approval the rezoning of about 1,500 acres in 2 clusters to age-restricted development from several other zoning categories as part of Southern Oaks. One cluster is on both sides of County Road 468, south of 44. The other is west and behind Wildwood Country Resort, extending to the Florida Turnpike. Watson also recommended site plans for a Southern Oaks commercial development near County Road 468 and the Turnpike, as well as the first stretch. They're adding on to Buena Vista Boulevard. The first stretch of Buena Vista Boulevard extension behind the commercial development. His recommendations are subject to City Commission approval. They're talking about, they are concerned about the quality of water and the sewer systems for the trailer park over there. The lady made a comment. She said, everything's changing around us and we're getting stuck right in the middle. There have been issues with pipes breaking, sewer lines clogging up. Why don't they annex us and get proper service? They want to be annexed into the city of Wildwood, and as of right now, they're not. 2 points to maintain the community. Semi-trucks must slow down. They're concerned about traffic. It's the normal complaints that you got when there's a lot of development going on. And this just ain't here. This is normal complaints nationwide. Is they want to know if there's going to be a wall erected around them to kind of help keep some of the noise down. That dealt with the zoning and other issues, site plans, rezoning of 2 land clusters of the village, success of north. Rezoning of the 2 land clusters allows the villages to extend Southern Oaks northward to State Road 44. The property is planned for residential and mixed-use development. Mixed-use development. Don't be concerned about that word. What that mixed-use development is, that's the Wildwoods way of saying that's how, the mixed-use development will be golf courses, rec centers. I'm trying to think of something else that could be swimming pool areas, postal areas. That's mixed-use development. Finally, they got the putt course, the putt and play thing. That's a mixed-use development. So don't let that bother you. Southern Oaks includes a proposal for a $36 million extension of Buena Vista Boulevard from State Road 44 to County Road 468. So it'll continue on all the way out to 468. I had heard rumors, I mean, I don't know how this is going to work, that's going to be the way they're going to connect the golf cart trails to the villages, is by extending Buena Vista down. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Like I say, rumors around here run rampant. So we'll see. But the first phase would be a road to nowhere running behind the commercial development. In November, the Wildwood City Commission approved 3 ordinances that allow construction of up to 26,590 homes in the 8,059-acre Southern Oaks development, and added urban agriculture, community farming, and development of recreational vehicles as permitted use. So it sounds like to me what they're going to do also is we're going to have an urban farming area out there, agriculture area. I'm not sure what that could be anything from, the villages one time had buffalo. Maybe they're going to do something like that. I don't know. Community farming, I can see what that's going to be. So different areas out there, different villages out there is going to have community farming. A place to have a garden is what they're going to have. That's what it sounds like to me. Recreational vehicles as permitted uses. Sounds like to me they're going to put maybe either, I'm guessing here, either a recreational RV park. They're going to have a village's RV park out there somewhere, or they're going to have a place out there where you can store RVs. I'm not sure what that really means, but it's going to be one or the other. So we'll see how that works out. And I guess that's really all for the news right now. I don't want to put bad news on people. I just want you to have a realistic vision of what it is. As people get older, they need help. And sometimes family comes in to help that's not necessarily good. So, and it's going to happen in a newer area. Right now, we're younger down here. We're the new retirees. We're younger. As we get older, we may need help. And these problems exist. So be aware. As I say, be aware of your surroundings. Don't leave your purse in a golf cart. Don't leave your iPhones in a golf cart. Don't leave your keys in a golf cart. Just be aware of where you're at and what's going on. It is a retirement community. We do have a lot of fun here. It's a very, very walkable community. But I guess what I'm trying to say is don't be stupid. You know, take care of yourself and watch after your neighbors. We do here in my area. That's why I'm really not looking forward to moving. I've lived in 3 different areas, and our neighbors here, we're very, very aware of our neighbors. We know who's gone, and we know who's here, and we know cars, and we know golf carts. We know what all of our full-time neighbors drive in a golf cart. And so when we see cars coming through with out-of-state plates, going really slow, looking around, this time of year is kind of normal. They're looking at houses that might be for sale. I know every house in my neighborhood for sale and who owns them. So, you know, we're aware. So you be aware, because you're coming down, you're new, be aware, don't be silly, and you'll be just fine. So until then, I'll say I'll see you on the other side. I hope I didn't make anybody mad.